Shortly after, Vigo also got the news and rushed to the scene. But it was already too late to change anything. Before Vigo could even get angry, John showed up again, guns blazing. With his rifle, John unleashed a hail of bullets, leaving no chance for the enemy to fight back. To keep the firepower flowing, he smoothly switched to his handgun without missing a beat. But even a one-man army has limits. Unfortunately, John was knocked down by the bodyguard driving straight into him. Once again, John lost to this same bodyguard. When John woke up, the arrogant Vigo was already standing in front of him, taunting him to his face. Not only did Vigo insult John, but he also dragged his wife and dog into it. That was the final straw. John snapped. He vowed right there to wipe out Vigo's entire family. But before he could do anything, his head was covered with a bag, and they tried to suffocate him. At the last second, a gunshot rang out from the distance. It was Marcus sniping from afar to save John's life. As John's former partner, Marcus couldn't just stand by and watch a legend die like this. Seeing the opportunity, John broke free, took out another guard, grabbed a gun, and chased after Vigo's car. Standing right in front of the car, John fired several shots, forcing the vehicle to a stop. Then he climbed onto the hood and ended the driver with one clean shot. Now, only Vigo was left. Outnumbered and out of options, Vigo had no choice but to give up his son's location under John's threat. At this point, Iosef was holed up in a fortress, surrounded by bodyguards. Feeling untouchable, Iosef's buddy was even chilling in the room, playing video games. Here's a fun Easter egg. If you look closely, the buddy's in-game character is named Neo, a tribute to Keanu Reeves' iconic role in The Matrix. Meanwhile, John took out a sniper and snagged his rifle. With surgical precision, John sniped Iosef's friend, then one by one dropped the guards at the entrance. After clearing the way, John hit the detonator, blowing up all the cars in the warehouse and cutting off Iosef's escape route. No words needed. One clean shot finished Iosef for good. With his revenge complete, John left the Continental Hotel. Before leaving, the hotel gifted him a brand new car as an apology for the assassination attempt. After leaving the hotel, John went to the riverside for one final farewell with Marcus, the man who saved his life more than once. But fate had other plans. Perkins, who had somehow slipped away earlier, happened to witness this goodbye scene. She immediately snitched to Vigo. Blinded by rage, Vigo brutally tortured and killed Marcus, then smugly called John to rub it in. By the time John arrived, all he found was Marcus's lifeless body. Staring at his fallen friend, John's heart filled with sorrow. A new cycle of vengeance was about to begin. Meanwhile, Perkins's actions violated the Continental's ironclad rules. As punishment, the hotel stripped her of her membership and carried out her execution. Back at Marcus's home, John received a call from Winston. Winston revealed Vigo's escape route and apologized for not handling Perkins earlier. Without wasting a second, John hit the road, this time settling both old and new scores. Catching up to Vigo's convoy, John floored the gas and flipped the rear car. Then, ramming into the lead vehicle, he forced them to a stop. The guards opened fire immediately, but John seamlessly merged with his car, using it as both cover and weapon, taking down the guards one by one. That brand new car? It barely lasted 3 hours before getting totaled. With the last guard down, Vigo made a desperate move, driving straight into John. Luckily, John reacted in time, diving out the rear window at the last second. Now it was just John and Vigo, face to face. They agreed. No guns, just fists. A proper fight. But Vigo couldn't play fair. Seeing himself losing, he pulled out a hidden knife, stabbing wildly at John. John, instead of dodging, used the knife's momentum to stab himself, and then, using that very knife, he broke Vigo's arm and drove the blade into Vigo's shoulder. And so, the bloodbath sparked by a dog finally came to an end. Wounded and exhausted, John collapsed to the ground, watching old videos of his wife. Her smile gave him the will to keep going. With great effort, he stood up and dragged himself into a nearby animal clinic, patching up his wounds. That's where fate stepped in, again. A stray dog caught John's eye. With the dog at his side, John walked off into a new story, and with that, the film came to a close. I'm sure many of you noticed during the action scenes, John doesn't always aim carefully when firing his gun. Instead, he fires first to disable the enemy, then moves in for the finishing blow. When necessary, he mixes in brutal close combat. This technique is known as point shooting. To master it, Keanu Reeves underwent intense firearm training, which is why we got to see such flawlessly executed gunplay on screen.